Hello, my name is Zak McAllistor, and today I'm going to be teaching you the 4-ring stacked kickup. This video is part of the IJA video tutorial series and is made possible by our generous donors on Patreon. Going into this tutorial, I would highly recommend having a solid 4-ring fountain, basic understanding of pancake throws, and also a basic understanding of kickups, and maybe have tried it with balls or rings or whatever. And with all that out of the way, let's get into it.
This tutorial will be broken up into 2 skill trees, the kickup of the bottom ring and the kickup of the triple stack above the foot. Let's start with the bottom ring. Place your foot through the ring and let it rest on the top of your toes. If you're at all familiar with pancake throws, you'll know that the more surface that the ring is touching, the better control you'll have. Also, make sure that the ring is lined up pretty square on your foot. Make sure there is equal distance to the ring on either side so you don't end up with a wonky flip in the air. You also want to make a wide stance with your legs where the kick-up leg is in front and you have all your weight in the back leg, which is in the back. The final step to this is a straight kick forward. Bending your knee when you do this can lead to issues later on, so I recommend keeping your leg as straight as possible. The ring should go high enough to where if you wanted to catch it on your head, you could, because eventually there will be 3 more rings right below this one, so you'll want to make room for that. Going over the triple stack kickup, you'll notice that the way you kick up the rings is the same as before, but if you wanted to practice the kickup from above the foot, you can start with just 1. Now, something to note about this other kickup is that the ring might sway side to side if it's not lined up properly. You want to rest it on top of your toes, because eventually it will be like hooked on to the ring that's on the bottom. But for now, you want to make sure that it's lined up correctly, or else it might fall off the side, it might sway back and forth, so you want to make sure that's lined up really nice. You want to establish the same stance as before and put your weight into the non-kick-up foot. Doing a straight kick forward should yield the same result as with the other kick-up, except for you'll notice that the ring doesn't do more than half a rotation. This is normal. Now that we've covered both types of kick-ups, minus the triple stack, let's put them together and kick up 2 rings. Put on the bottom ring first and place the top ring where it rests between your foot and the bottom ring. The next step is self-explanatory. Kick up both rings. It should feel the exact same as kicking up either one way or the other, except for you'll just be kicking up both rings at the same time. And you might notice that the bottom ring always ends up on top, so you can always expect for that bottom ring to end up on the top of the pattern whenever you do the kick up. You've probably noticed that catching the rings has to be a quick thing, but also a delicate thing. You can't just snatch the rings out of the air, because rings are very gentle and they will bounce around. So you just need to learn where to put your hands and how to catch them. You just need to build up the muscle memory of this is where this other ring will always be in this pattern when you kick them up. Let's take a second to talk about the hardest part of this whole trick, the triple stack part of the kick up. First things first, arrange the 3 rings on your foot, like so, in this small 3-ring stack. One thing to note is that the center ring in the stack, the tail part, should be sticking out and not in, which can be seen here. This is very important in getting the rings to separate properly later on. Talking about the actual 3-ring stack kick-up, you'll notice it's very, very cluttered in the middle of the airspace. So actually, since you're doing a cascade, you need to make some sort of side throw, like maybe a reverse cascade throw, because there literally is not room to throw anything in that middle area. This actually, I think, makes it easier to go into 4, but that's just personal preference. One thing for sure, always grab the 2 bottom rings, because if you go for any other rings, then you'll end up colliding with any of the 2 bottom rings that are left. I don't know any more explanation about that, but just trust me, it doesn't work. This step is probably going to be where you're stuck at for the longest time. Just working on getting the 3 up and collecting and doing 3 cascade after the kick up will probably take some time, but once you get this kick up down, then it'll make the other kick up way more doable. You might think about trying to enter into 4 rings from a 2 ring kick up, like before, but now entering into 4 rings. Like I said before, you'll notice that my first 2 fountain throws that I make out of 4 are going to be slightly outside, mainly because there's not room to fit those 2 throws in the center area, because the airspace is too cluttered. And finally, you'll go for the all 4 on the foot kick up. Now, the only difference between this and the kicking up 2 rings into 4 is having to snatch the 2 bottom rings out and then make them as outside throws, and then continue on with the regular 4 ring pattern. Then, after lots and lots of practice and time, you can have an awesome new start to your 4 ring act. If you have any further questions, I'll keep my eye out for the comment section of this IJA video. So if you have any questions or thoughts about this trick that you want answered, please let me know down below and I will respond with my personal account.
Thank you for watching this tutorial. My name is Zach, and I'm gonna go.